If you have type 2 diabetes and you're tired of being told it's chronic and something you'll just have to manage forever, if your A1C is controlled but your medication list keeps growing or stays the same, and you know deep down you're capable of more than this, you're in the right place. This is the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. We're Brian Bisher and Corey Jenks, two pharmacists who spent over 2 decades inside healthcare. And we started this show because we got tired of watching capable people stuck getting managed instead of rebuilt. Here's what most people aren't told. Type 2 diabetes isn't just a blood sugar problem. It's a muscle and energy storage problem. When your body loses strength and metabolic flexibility, blood sugar rises. And you can rebuild that. On this show, we break the scripts that say more meds are inevitable, you're destined to just manage, remission isn't possible, and instead we teach you how to build muscle, eat in a way that keeps you full, and regain control of your health again. No extremes, no shame, just practical strategies to help you move toward remission and lead your health again. Let's get to work.
Welcome back to another edition of the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. And Brian, we're live in person and we took this one on the road.
Yeah, we're down in Florida. We're not on a plane like we talked about that one time, but we are in person.
Yeah, and on a trip, just
Yes.
not actively traveling.
Yes.
So we wanted to get to you even though we were on vacation, because the diabetes does not take a break, and nor do we.
No.
And I would say diabetes doesn't sleep, and based on the sleep habits of my kids this trip, nor do I. So.
Yeah, you were telling me the story about this morning where I said, hey, I'm glad you slept in. It sounds like you got more sleep. And yet
the answer, well, there was a big middle part where I did not sleep. So we could talk all about our vacation, but that's not what we're here to do. We have a listener submitted article that a little spicy topic about GLP-1 medications. And so the article itself, will link to it in the show notes so that you can read it for yourself. But it's called The Benefits of Starting a GLP-1 Earlier in Type 2 Diabetes.
Okay, sounds interesting.
It is, and we are the Diabetes Remission Roadmap, so we probably have opinions about this. And this particular person, this listener, thanks for sending it to us. And if you see something, remember, send it to us in a DM or an email. Yep. But they're curious about the discussion on whether clinical practice is moving in that direction of starting GLP-1s earlier. And they said the arguments in this article make sense, but only if it works as a short-term intervention to stall progression of disease. Also the argument that insurance should make this more affordable. And so the gist of this article is that GLP-1 medications, and we're not going to actually go into the weeds of what GLP-1s do act, how are Ozempic, Mounjaro is like a cousin of Ozempic, the Trulicity. Those are the names of GLP-1s. And they, let's be honest, Brian, in the world of diabetes medications, they're about the best we've had so far.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
When you and I finished pharmacy school, I mean, it was metformin, sulfonylureas like glipizide. There were GLP-1s out, but they were daily or twice daily, and they weren't as effective. They hadn't been refined the way they have by Big Pharma. They had insulin. And we have new medications in the repertoire that not only lower sugar, but actually improve outcomes. Yeah. So we have to give the medication its due. We're not going to be just automatically anti-medication, Brian. If you're struggling with sugars and you've not implemented lifestyle, then yeah, the damage is happening when your sugars are high.
Yeah, you need to do something about it. You can't just sit there and watch it ride high and just
ravage your body.
Yeah.
So I here's what I will say is that I think that if we're going to start a medicine, traditionally the standard of care is start metformin. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the standard starting medication. And if you fail metformin, you don't tolerate it, get the old poopy pants, then you are going to then move on to other medicines. And then eventually, like GLP-1s often fall second, third, fourth line because they're expensive. Insurance doesn't want us to spend money on you.
I was going to say, I think we should explain why metformin is still the the first line therapy. And it's because it's cheap, it's well studied, it's long term, and it's been around. So it's been around for a long time. And if people tolerate it, it does work.
Yeah, so it doesn't work to the degree that GLP-1s can reduce weight. They have really great cardiovascular, kidney benefits. Now, is that because they're uniquely special or because they work so well that you're able to lower sugar and help kind of work on that underlying process? So we just want to make it clear, we're not anti-medication.
Yeah.
But there are a couple things that sort of grinded my gears in this article, Brian. And within the article, and I'm pulling it up here on my phone because, hey, we're on vacation. So they have a big, bold subheadline that type 2 diabetes is naturally progressive. And this is something that will rise my blood pressure even on the shores of Florida at the beach.
Sounds like we need to get you grounded again, Corey, after this.
Yes.
So why does that grind your gears so much?
Because it takes agency away from the individual. I can't tell you the number of how times we've been seeing people in our clinic or come into our coaching service that say, well, my doctor just says I'm going to have to need more medicines over the course of my life, and that's that. Yeah. And 50 years ago, we didn't have type 2 diabetes. So the idea that it absolutely, there's like nothing you could, it's like Austin, like I'm going to make a 30-year-old movie reference. It's like in Austin Powers, when the steamroller is slowly moving towards the guy and ends up rolling him over. But they're making fun of movies like this, but he has like 50 feet where he could just simply move to the side. And, you know, Mike Myers' character is like, get out of the way, get out of the way. And the guy's like, no. But it was, so this is what it feels like, because this guy just needed the tool of move. Yeah. But it kind of paralyzes people into this pattern of just believing. And our pickleball game this morning.
Yeah.
I'll make this, I promise I'll make this work. But the first game, Brian smoked me.
No, you were winning. And then I came back and smoked you.
And I kind of just like, I was tired, didn't sleep well. I was like, I'm making excuses for myself. And I just told myself, no more of this. Took some deep breaths, and I decided I would win the next 2 games, and I did.
Oh, he decided. Okay.
Yeah, it was a choice.
I had no choice.
No, you didn't. It was beyond your control. It was like, it is such a mindset shift. And the sad thing is that it puts agency in the hands of pharmaceutical companies. And and we're not saying big pharma is bad. Again, if you need a medicine, if I had a family member with type 2 diabetes, and I had to spin the wheel of medicines, and you had to start a medicine, I'd probably go with a GLP-1, right, Brian?
Well, I would. And I would make sure they got the lowest tolerable dose, they got titrated appropriately, they got the right lifestyle support with it.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree that I would go with that.
Yeah, I mean, this article lists all kinds of benefits. Heart health, kidney protection, liver health, sleep apnea, blood pressure, cholesterol, inflammation. So there are real benefits. And the barriers to starting them sooner, I think, one, we get in patterns. So prescribers just automatically assume we're going to start metformin first. So that's sort of the established pattern. But the other barrier is insurance doesn't want to pay for expensive things. Mm-hmm. If anyone's ever had a car insurance claim or a home insurance claim or a health insurance claim, they don't like paying for stuff. And these are expensive, Brian. So the article is advocating for more coverage so people can start these sooner. And there are benefits to starting them sooner because and it's not just unique to this. If you improve your sugar earlier in the process of type 2 diabetes, you're also going to reduce the risk of complications.
Quick pause for a second. If you're finding the podcast helpful and you want more practical ideas to help move your blood sugar in the right direction, come follow us on Instagram at Diabetes Remission Partners. We share quick tips, food and exercise insights, and blood sugar mistakes people don't even realize they're making. It's also where we can answer your questions directly in the DMs. So if you want more help between episodes, Instagram at Diabetes Remission Partners is the best place to find us. And when you follow us, make sure to say hi. All right, back to the show.
But the other part of me that really bums me out about this is that the article says that they're not a quick fix. We agree, right?
Yeah, we agree they're not a quick fix.
They're meant to be taken long-term, even if you reach your A1C and weight loss goals. If you stop taking them, your blood sugar may rise again, and some or all of the weight you lost may come back.
Yeah, I think that's what we would call management, because basically you're letting the medication just do the work, and you're not really doing anything to support that. So our philosophy is use medication as a bridge while you're working on lifestyle changes, and then we quote unquote build this natural medication exit strategy. So you're coming in on medication if you're on it, and we're going to work on the skills, the lifestyle habits, the changes that allow you to then safely work your way. Think of a highway. You're exiting off the highway to get to your destination, and you want to do that collaboration with your doctor, but you're getting off medication. And that's why I don't think it's a long-term solution.
Right. And so this is the last piece of this article that I want to bring up. And this is, we will call ourselves out after I say this thing. But at the very end, it says this content was made possible with support from Lilly, which is a company that makes GLP-1 medications.
I'm not shocked.
No. And so if you're being sponsored by a company, are you ever going to say anything bad about their product? Probably not. Now, Brian.
Speaking of, we're looking for sponsors.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Boy, if you want, so we have no problem with people making a living, but what we want people to understand is how to read things critically. Now, Brian, do we have a coaching service that people pay us for?
Yeah, we do.
Right, we do. So full disclosure, like we make a living helping people put their type 2 into remission and reduce their need for medications. And so they have a financial incentive to promote medicines, but we'll be intellectually honest and say, if you're on a GLP-1 and you feel good and you want to stay on it, great. Like that's okay. But for the reality that if you need to rely on a medicine that retails at $1,000 a month for the rest of your life, you're at the whims of the insurance company if they'll cover it. You're at the whims of the pharmaceutical company if they can manufacture enough of it. I can't tell you the number of outages of GLP-1s. We actually had an emergency episode. Well, the emergency episode was the coverage. So the reality is we are here for you regardless of the road you want to take. But we want to provide you the tools to take agency and into your own hands. Listen to episode 61 with Jay from the Girl Coach talk about agency. He didn't want to be on these medicines. And we're not judging though you if you want to take them. We're here to help you. If you take a GLP-1 but still want to need less of it or improve your body composition because the way they work, you can lose muscle on this. We're here to help you. But we can't pretend that there aren't biases out in the world.
Yeah. And I think the main point here is that if you want to be dependent, if you're someone that doesn't want to be dependent, so I know a lot of people I talk to, they're like, I never saw myself taking medication, and that's just the mindset that people have, is that they don't want that. But I'm a realist too, in the sense that like some people just need this medication because there's a natural deficiency. So what we haven't talked about is like GLP-1 is naturally in your body. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
They didn't just make this up.
Yeah.
It's a natural occurring peptide in your body. So how does it work? I mean, I'm not going to get into how it works, but what else you got in the outline here? Because
we're running on bare minimum technology here. So I mean, really for us, it's defining the goal and looking at the assumptions. This article assumes that type 2 diabetes is chronic, progressive, requires medicine for life. We know what happens when you assume, and we don't like this assumption. But I mean, the goal, obviously, we want to lower sugar, we want to reduce cardiovascular risk, we want to lose weight, we want to build a healthier, stronger body, and reduce medication dependence. So these goals overlap, but they're not identical, right? You can achieve many of these with a medicine, but not all of them. And you can achieve all of these without a medicine. But it is hard work, and it takes investment in time and effort. It also takes getting a little bit angry, I think, at where you're at. And so that's, I think, a big theme is that we see people who are just fed up with being dependent on medicine and seeing doctors who make these same assumptions that, well, obviously you must be on a medicine for life.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around why they even would say that it's naturally progressive. And the only thing I can think of is like we naturally lose muscle mass as we get older. And so in that sense, it would be progressive because muscle is the main primary storage place of sugar for your body. And so, yes, if you're naturally losing muscle as you get older, 3 to 5% every decade after age 30, and that speeds up after age 60, then yeah, I guess I can see how that's naturally progressive.
Right. But we also see 60-something, 70-something year olds who take A1Cs in the teens and take them to the sixes. Yeah. So shove that natural progression. So,
yeah. Well, I was going to say naturally progressive means like, it doesn't mean you can't do anything about stopping that natural progression. But if you do nothing, if you change nothing, even if you took medications that did not stop the progression, like reducing muscle mass, if actually they can expedite it, they can make you lose more muscle mass, then yeah, it could maybe even, it can make you more dependent on it. And then it can make your blood pressure go up if you stop it because you didn't actually address
blood
the
sugar
root
go up.
cause. Yeah.
And probably blood pressure too.
And blood pressure go up. That's what I meant.
Yeah. So no, our blood pressure's up right now. And I think that oftentimes there's like two camps of people. There's like the medicines will save us camp, and there's the medications are evil camp. And if you've listened to us at all, I think we like to think of ourselves as sort of voices of reason. Yeah. These are all tools. We can choose the tools. They're not good or bad tools. You especially are against the good versus bad labeling. And as far as funding goes, like that's what we're trained as pharmacists to look at when we look at a journal article is who funded this. And it's not because funding something makes it wrong. Like we have to be able to pay for studies. We have to fund things, but incentives influence what gets emphasized. And this article emphasizes staying on a medicine for life, and it's funded by a drug company. I can say that our coaching program is designed to help you stop medicines, and then we say goodbye, congratulations.
Yeah.
Like it's not a lifelong
There's
dependence
no
on
incentive for lifelong dependence.
There's only one lifelong dependence that each of us have, and it's our poor wives that are stuck with us forever. So, and this applies to everybody: big pharma, supplement companies, food companies, influencers, other health coaches. Like we funding can affect things. Like if we don't have sponsors yet, as Brian said, we're not out here shilling for sponsors. But if we came across something that we believed was a great product, we would be incentivized to share it with people. And if they would be incentivized to have people buy it and compensate us for it. So, but I think we're pretty not going to be funded by Lilly anytime soon based on our message.
I don't want to be.
Yeah.
But on that note of like sponsorships and products, I do see, and people probably come across this too, those like powders, and I'm always hesitant that anything that
the magic supplements.
Yeah. Well, the supplements that also then are backed by like a little bit of a pyramid scheme where that person's trying to get you to then sell it, and then they make more money when they level up. I'm always a little skeptical of those products because of the incentives behind it.
Right. And at the end of the day, people have to make a living.
Yeah.
You and I have to make a living. We don't have to. We'd like to. But so anyways.
I'll argue that we want to make a difference. We want to have a purpose, and we want to use that. We want to focus that purpose on making a difference in people's lives. That's what we want to do.
Exactly. So when it comes down to it, we're not anti-GLP-1. I hope you can get that from it. We're not anti-medication, but we are anti-helplessness. We hate the feeling of seeing people that feel helpless, and we're anti-believing that progression in type 2 diabetes is inevitable. And so the question that we want to ask, sort of a thought experiment, Brian, is if you're on medicine for blood sugar and that medication disappeared tomorrow, what would remain? Would you have more muscle, better habits, better movement, a healthier environment, or would you simply be waiting for that medication to come back so you could refill the prescription?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So I think that, good ideas can come from parties that have incentives, but good health comes from asking the bigger questions of what you want, the bigger question of where you fit in the healthcare system, and the bigger question of what you want life to look like.
Yeah, and I think right now, a lot of us, I can relate, it's hard to create the space to reflect and ask yourself those questions. And sometimes it hurts to listen to the truth about this, like the truth that comes up from the silence. And we talked about like epidemics. We have like a comfort crisis here, and there's also a lack of silence crisis.
So the comfort crisis is that things are so comfortable that we don't challenge our minds, our bodies, our souls. Yeah.
And then there's also a lack of silence and reflection time. There's constant interruptions, distractions, and you don't have to really sit with yourself. But I think some of the true hard answers, like to that, the questions that are going to change your life are going to come in those minutes of silence with yourself.
So we hope you got something out of this. We really appreciate the listener for submitting this article to us and asking for our opinion. We don't know what you think of what our opinion is, but we enjoyed sharing it. And please keep sending us. I mean, we love these kinds of episodes where we can break down articles, other podcasts, anything out in the world, and try to help make sense of it. Because I think that's one thing that we also see is information overload. So we try to break things down to the bare minimum effective dose of what you need to know and how to put it into action.
Yeah. So one takeaway, I think, if you see something, look at the bottom, the disclaimer of who sponsors it. Then you'll maybe get a sense of what the incentives are for the information you're reading.
Sure.
So
great.
That being said, I'm deciding right now that I'm going to beat you in pickleball tomorrow.
Okay. My last day here.
Yeah, your last day.
So you want to send me out on a low note?
Yes, I do.
So at least we can say we have crushed our children in wiffle ball on the beach.
We have absolutely crushed them.
Like physically, emotionally, spiritually. They leave the beach every night crying. But I think that also has to do with that it's like past their bedtime and they're all tired.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed this, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Make sure to rate us. Leave us a review. Those really help other people who are struggling with their blood sugar find us. But until next episode, when we're back home in our comfy separate locations, keep it simple and do what works.
If this episode gave you clarity or hope, share it with one friend who's been stuck in the diabetes trap. That's how this mission grows. One person, one family, one story at a time. And if you haven't yet, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and realize they're not stuck with meds forever. It takes less than a minute and it means the world to us. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of this movement toward freedom. Thanks for listening to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. The ideas discussed here are for general informational purposes only and do not constitute medical or nutritional advice. We are pharmacists, but we're not your personal healthcare providers. Always consult your own physician or qualified clinician before changing medications, exercise routines, or nutrition plans. Results vary, and what works for one person may not work for another.